சிற்றம்பலம். ஆடும் பரிவேல் அணி சேவல் என பாடும் பணியே பணியாய் அருள்வாய் தேடும் கயமா முகனை செருவில் சாடும் தனி யானை சகோதரனே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். அண்ட சராசரங்களுக்கெல்லாம் அதிபதியாக விளங்கக்கூடிய முருகப்பெருமானுடைய ஒப்பற்ற பெருங்கருணையினாலே ஞானத்திரள் சார்பாக மாதந்தோறும் தேவிச்சேக்கிழார் அருளி செய்த பெரிய புராணத்தை ஆங்கிலத்திலே நாயன்மார்களுடைய வரலாற்றை சிந்திக்கின்ற முகமாக இன்றைய தினம் தொடர்ந்து இளையான்குடி நாயனார் பற்றி நாம் சிந்திப்பதற்கு திருவருள் கூட்டியிருக்கிறது. Of the 63 Nayanmars, they have principled a life. If you go through their stories, you may find that they have a concept for which they lived their whole life. They will dedicate anything for their principle or concept, but they will never dedicate or give up their concept for even for their lives. So that was the basic, what we can say, the triad of the Adiyars. The devotees are called the special name Adiyars, Sivanadiyars, Sivanadiyar. They love the Lord Shiva and they render their service to the temple in various aspects. Some of them render their service to Shiva's devotees with equal sincerity, honesty and interest. They will consider the devotee or the Adiyar nothing other than Lord Shiva. They will not differentiate between Lord Shiva and the disciple or the devotee or the Adiyar. They will part with anything they have and they will go to the extent of sacrificing their life to fulfill their desire or to fulfill the needs of the Adiyar. That was a gist we are finding in Periya Puranam. All the 63 Nayanmars, you can see that they may belong to various categories: merchants, kings, or prophets, or even fisherman, or a launderer. So many people, so many ways of life they would be conducting, but of all of them, you may find that their complete sacrifice and sincerity towards expressing, showing their love to Lord Shiva. They will avail all the opportunities to express their deep love for Lord Shiva. So they will be having a life in a manner that befits as a Saivat. So you can say that they lived a grammatical life of a Saivat. They may we from different categories, as I already told you, but when they come to express their love for Lord Shiva or for his devotee, all of them will be alike. All of them will be alike. So, in the last 2 weeks, we discussed the Nayanmar Thirunilkandathu Koyavanar, and subsequently in the last week we discussed Iyarpagai Nayanar. This week we are going to discuss about Ilayankudi Nayanar, Ilayankudi Nayanar. The Tirthonda Tohai, in Tirthonda Tohai, Sundaramurthy Swamigal gives only one line about each Nayanmar. That's a powerful line, of course. But out of the single line, David Chekudar has taken so much of efforts to bring about the facts and the real incidents, including the real background of the Nayanmar. For example, the native place, the names of the parents, the caste, the profession, all these details. David Chekudar has taken so much of efforts to collect through missions and by himself also. He was going through the Tamil Nadu, and the inscriptions he has studied. He had studied inscriptions. He had taken into account the verdict of so many poets. Everything taken into account. He finally arrived at a final form of the life history of the Nayanmar. So, being a responsible chief minister of Chola king, he assumed the responsibility of bringing out the real facts of Nayanmar. So, out of anxiety and enthusiasm, no fictitious details should be discussed. That was his policy and principle in writing Periya Puranam. That is why the historians depend so much on David Chekudar's Periya Puranam for their research work. It's so reliable. Even though it is named as Periya Puranam, it consists of historical facts and events. Okay, now today we are going to discuss about one Nayanar, Ilayankudi Nayanar. தில்லைவாழ் அந்தணர்தம் அடியார்க்கும் அடியேன் திருநீலகண்டத்து குயவனார்க்கு அடியேன் இல்லையே என்னாத இயற்பகைக்கும் அடியேன். Till this we have completed, and today we are going to see இளையாந்தன் குடிமாறன் அடியார்க்கும் அடியேன். See, some of the disciples or devotees of Lord Shiva, they would be very keen in feeding adiyars. That would be their primary service. So they had a concept that no Sivanadiyar, no adiyar uttering the chanting the name of Lord Shiva should starve. So not only starving, the disciples thought that by feeding them, they would be feeding directly Lord Shiva. See, we are doing nivedanams in the pujas. We are doing some nivedanams. When performing pujas, we do some Nivedanam on the assumption that God will accept it and will taste it. But it's only our belief. But whereas Shivanadiyar, if you offer them the prasadam or Nivedanam, they will immediately consume it, and then and there you will receive the satisfaction. So that is why so many Adiyars are very keen in feeding Adiyars. It is their primary service is to feed them under any circumstances, not to abandon or give up this service. One such Nayanar is Ilayankudi Nayanar. Ilayankudi was a small, flourishing agricultural town in Pandya kingdom. The main profession, the main thing that was taken up by the people of the town is agriculture, was agriculture. Ilayankudi. There lived a lot of landlords, and one of them is named Maran. One of them was living there by name Maran. Maranar was a rich farmer, was a rich agriculturist. He owned a lot of paddy fields, and also he was wealthy. He attached himself to Nataraja of Sitambaram and thought that whatever he had been given by Lord Shiva to feed the Shivanadiyars. So he was very keen in feeding Shivanadiyars. He was wealthy, very wealthy also, and he thought that by feeding Shivanadiyars, he would be pleasing Lord Shiva. So in that manner, he fed the Shivanadiyars. His pattern of feeding will be is quite different when we go through the story. See, his pattern of feeding Shivanadiyars. So what he will do is, he will go in search of Shivanadiyars. He would be going in search of Shivanadiyars. Whoever came across, he would be stopping them, and he would be humbly telling them that he is very fond of feeding Shivanadiyars. Sir, it seems that you are new to this town. I consider you as my Lord Shiva's disciple, devotee. I will be blessed if you incline to come out to my house, and if you are being fed by me, I would be very much blessed. He would be uttering kind words, softening and soothing words, so that anybody would be allowing to go to Marana's house. So in that way, he would be welcoming them. He would be telling them kind words, and he would be requesting them to have meals in his house. The request would be irresistible, and all the people would be preferring to go to Maranar's house and to have the meals. So they would be agreeing and they would be going to Maranar's house. See, the details are not over yet. If he brings any Shivanadiyar or any Adiyar to be fed in his house, he would be welcoming them. He would be asking them to sit on a special seat. He would be washing their feet with holy water, and he would be performing puja, doing some archana for them, because he was not assuming. He considered that anybody who came to his house for being fed is only Lord Shiva. It's only Lord Shiva. He believed it to the core that as if Lord Shiva has come to that house, he would be doing all pujas and performing archanas with beautiful flowers. And then he would be requesting them to come for the Annambalipu, that is for being fed. The meals in the next, the thing to be appreciated is he would be presenting the meals in a special manner. Special items, special meals, special food. He would be arranging the cooking with the special cooks. So many details he would be working out, so that anybody who comes to him should be satisfied and their hunger should be quenched. So he took all the steps, he took all the precautions, all the steps to feed them. Means in all respect it should be complete. So for Maranayanar, the feeding of Shivanadiyar is not just a feeding, it's a worship of Lord Shiva. So he will be very much happy. He was leading an exemplary life befitting as a Saivat. So to cater to all his steps and his way of feeding them, he must be fully sound in finance, isn't it? Since he was very wealthy, it didn't pose any problem for him to feed them. As a matter of fact, his wealth was increasing to facilitate his habitual hospitality. About Maranar's hospitality, the news went round the town. Not only went round the whole the Pandya king. Everybody was talking about Maran's the hospitality, the way in which he welcomes, the way in which he feeds the Adiyars, the way in which he treats the Adiyars is couldn't be compared to anybody. That was the speech or talk of the whole. That was the talk of the whole town or even whole kingdom. So people used to come over there, and some people deliberately they made it a habit to visit Maranar house so that they can enjoy a very good meals and hospitality. The people, even though admired Ilayankudi Nayanar's hospitality, the way of his treatment to the Adiyas, his love to Lord Shiva, everything was appreciated. But people were not very serious about it because they thought Nayanar is wealthy, Nayanar is very wealthy, so he can afford to give such treatments to Adiyas. He can afford to give such meals to Adiyas. That was the thought of the people. And Lord Shiva came to know this, what we can call the Adiyas very special quality should be known to everybody. Everybody should understand, even in the trying circumstances, he would be continuing this. Under any circumstances, he would be doing this service to Adiyas. His love will never come down for Adiyas. People may not know this fact, unless otherwise such situation arises. People will not understand. So God thought, Lord Shiva thought, it is time to reward. It's time to reward my disciple. He has done so much of service. This is not the place for him. He has to come to my world. That was the thought of Lord Shiva. That is why he did one thing. That is, he made a lot of disciples to visit Nayanar. So day by day, the number of Adiyas visiting going on increasing, and Nayanar's wealth started shrinking. As I already told you, you must remember, Lord Shiva wanted to reward his disciple, I told you. But you may think that it is contradictory. If he wants to reward, he must have given him more wealth. What is the point in shrinking his existing wealth? We must be able to analyze and understand the way in which God blesses his devotees. So, that I will explain at the end of the episode. So, the number of Adiyas started increasing, and subsequently Nayanar never got tired. He was doing the service without any pain feeling. He was doing, but the wealth was slowly shrinking, so he was forced to sell some of his lands. He never grudged, and he sold all lands, and the money he got out of them, he spent only for feeding Sivanadiyars in this manner, the manner I have explained you, in this manner. At this juncture, I want to emphasize one more point. That is, a man can do service. If he is a family man, he has to get the cooperation of his wife. He has to get the cooperation of the wife. Without the cooperation of the family member, it's very difficult to achieve anything, not only in religious activities, but in homely activities also. So one has to get the cooperation. Here, Maranar was blessed with his wife by God. Mrs. Maranar extended full cooperation. She never inquired, or she never prevented, or she never argued with her husband for doing this service. As a matter of fact, she would be indulging herself in this matter, and she would be extending all possible helps to her husband, so that he would be very much pleased and he would be doing his service without any hindrance. So, when the wealth of Nayanar was declining, she never murmured. She went on cooperating with her husband. So, the days slipped, and one day the entire wealth has gone. They started selling household articles, vessels, ornaments, so many things they sold, and out of the money they extended their service. How long it can go on? At one point of time, Maranar was left with only a small paddy field for his livelihood and a thatched hut nearby the field with a backyard. That's all. So he lived away from the town because he had nothing to part with. But even though he was living away from the town, because of his poverty, he was starving like anything with his wife. So the Maranar was starving with his wife, and he, with his wife, never changing their love towards Lord Shiva or Adiyas. They were living in a hut, thatched hut. One rainy night, I told you, isn't it? See, when the Nayanar was wealthy, he was not rewarded. Once he was starving, and when he was suffering in poverty, the God decided to gift him, to award him. Not with the worldly things that we are going to see shortly. So Nayanar, our Lord Shiva, came to his house on the disguise of a Nadia. It was a rainy day. The rain was showering, and Maranar and his wife were trying to sleep in the hut. It was raining outside. They didn't have any meals for the whole day. In the morning, Nayanar went to the field and sowed the paddy seeds, and they had nothing in their house to quench their hunger, and they were trying to sleep. At that time, they heard the knocking of the door, a thatched hut. They were bewildered. Who would have come at this late hours? Nobody is going to come to me because everybody knows I have become very poor. Everybody knows that. So nobody is going to come. But who is knocking at my door at this late hour? He sat up, and the wife also was accompanying him. He came to the door and opened it and found an Ayya there. He was drenched in the rain, and his face seemed to be very pathetic. He told him, Maranar, that the Ayya, that the poor Ayya is starving. He was in search of some food actually, and a shelter for the rainy night. Now Maranar understood it. He immediately went inside and took a towel and came out and gave it to him. Sir, use this towel, and if you just please wait, I can try to feed your hunger. You please wait here. After telling him, he turned inside and came to his wife. He was discussing with his wife. He knew very well that they themselves were starving. They themselves didn't have anything the whole day. Knowing that, he asked his wife, because he thought his wife was intelligent and she would be giving some idea so that this Ayya can be fed. So he was asking her. The man who has come, the Ayya who has come, seems to be Lord Shiva himself. Lord Shiva himself. I can read from his face that he was starving. Some or other we have to quench his hunger. What can we do? You give me some idea. He asked her. The wife immediately replied, what a dilapidated position I am. My husband is asking me to help him. He was helping the whole town. Now he is asking help from me. What a awkward situation I am in. She told her husband, oh my lord, we don't have any provision in this house, you know. And it is very late hours that we cannot go and borrow from anybody else. There is nobody else to give us also. But even if we try to ask the bills, it is late hours, nobody will give. I can think of one idea. See, in the morning you went to our field and you have sowed the paddy seeds. Since it has rained, all the seeds would be sprouted and would be floating on the water. If you are able to go to the field and get them collected, and if you bring it to them, I can just dehusk it and cook it. That's all I can do. Can you do that? She was asking. The whole wealth returned, as if the whole wealth returned. The Nayanar felt happy. Oh, what an idea. Immediately I will do it. He took a basket. He came out of the hut asking his wife to wait. He was carrying the basket on his head. It was still drizzling. The pitch dark roads were not clear. Nayanar was propelled by the desire to go to the field, because nobody can make out anything in the darkness. Some or other he managed himself to reach his field. There he was not able to distinguish between the bunch and fools. Some or other groping in the darkness with his hands and feet, he was collecting the seed that was floating on the water of his field, from the slushy mud and water. He got them collected in a basket, and he came back with the basket. She was waiting on the entrance. On seeing him, she got the basket, took all the seeds, washed them, and then only she was able to find out that there is no fire log in the house. She told him, no fire log. How to fire the oven? Nayanar immediately he looked upon the thatched roof. It is already very damageable condition. It was very dilapidated state. He removed a part of the roof and broke the rafters and gave them to her. Okay, go ahead with the fire. She was beginning the fire in the oven. She was drying the grains in the pan. After draining it, she dehusked it and getting some water in the vessel. She was boiling it in the oven. When the water boils, she deposited all the rice in the water to cook rice. Slowly, she asked her husband, okay, we can make the rice, but what about the side dish? How can he take a simple rice? There should be some side dish. Nayanar agreed. Okay, to this extent we have come. What to do? She was not able to decide anything. Immediately he thought of it. Oh, in the backyard we have some greens. Why don't I go and take the greens? Wife immediately told him to do it. He went to the backyard. He went to the backyard and he plucked the greens and came in and handed over to his wife. Wife washed it with clean water, rinsed it and cleaned it, cut it to pieces, and she made some dishes out of the greens. She added some condiments, and she was an expert of recipe, and with the available greens and rice, she cooked a gorgeous meals. Nayanar was very happy. He thought the purpose of his life has been completed. At this stage, God has made me to offer, to feed a poor adiyar who visited me. I have fed a lot of adiyars when I was wealthier. That was not the criterion. I had lots of wealth. But today, when I was at a loss to cater to my hunger, and at the time of this thing, if I am able to cater to the starvation of an Adiyar, it is only because of the blessing of Lord Shiva, nothing else. So he made a lot of prayers, he and his wife made a lot of prayers to Lord Shiva. Oh Lord Shiva, when an Adiyar came over to my house, you made me to feed him with the available thing. If I would have told him nothing is here, please go back. If I would have told him, I would have died on the spot itself. I will not be living, I would not be living to utter these words. I cannot say these words to him. But some or other God has made me, has rewarded me. See, that was the reward. The God has rewarded me to cater to the starvation of an Adiyar. What a nice thing God has given me. This is the blessing God has given me. Nobody would have got this blessing from me. Nayanar was very happy, and he told his wife, okay, let us call the Adiyar and feed him. She prepared a seat and she placed a plantain leaf in front of it. Both of them went outside, and Nayanar called him. He was Nayanar was found to be asleep. He was found to be asleep. So the Adiyar was found to be asleep. Nayanar was trying to call him. Sir, the food is ready. I can say that this is the highest, richest blessing we have received from Lord Shiva. So many years Lord Shiva has offered me, Lord Shiva has given me the opportunity to feed Adiyars. But today you have been very kind enough, to visit me, and you have been very kind enough to come in search of me and knocking my door with the hope that I would be feeding you. What a blessing you have given. Sir, please get up. The meals is ready. Kindly come into the house, have the meals, quench your hunger and bless us. Slowly the Adiyar was rising from his sleep. Rather, he appeared to be rising from his sleep. The Adiyar was slowly trying to wake up, He was not Adiyar at all. Lord himself has come. Lord himself has come in the disguise of an Adiyar. So when he just was rising, suddenly both of them, both Maranar and his wife, witnessed a very big flame. It was a tremendous jyoti. The brightness was so much, their eyes were blurred with the brightness. They were bewildered. What has happened? And they were wondering, where is the Adiyar? Why this flame? What is this? They were wondering. At that time, Lord Shiva, with his consort, Uma Maheshwari, appeared on his bull. Both of them went to the realm of happiness. They worshipped him. Lord Shiva told them, "Oh, Maran, what a splendid service you have rendered. I was very much pleased with your service to the Adiyars. I had come in person, not to test you, but to reveal this world about your sincerity and doing service in trying circumstances. Now everybody has understood, under any circumstances, you will never let down your principle of feeding Adiyars. It's a wonderful thing we had witnessed, and we have made it to the world, your service known. Okay? Now come along with me to my world. There you must render your perpetual service, and I am going to enjoy it. No need to be this world here afterwards. You come with me. Whatever service if you want to do, you can do there. No financial constraints will be there, because the Lord Guperan, the God of wealth, will be at your service. He will be at your service, and whatever you ask, He will be ready to render and do. So come along with me. That was the verdict Lord Shiva uttered and vanished. Both of them went to Sivaloka. So that's how the history goes on. So what we can understand is the Maranar, Nayanar, is feeding Adiyars, has been rendering his service of quenching the hunger for the Sivanadiyars, not because he was wealthier. He didn't do that because of his wealth. His notion, his motive was to feed Sivanadiyars. He thought all Sivanadiyars are the personification of Lord Shiva. Whenever a Sivanadiyar visits to my house, I will think that Lord Shiva himself has visited my house. That was the attitude of Maranar. He didn't change his attitude from Adiyar to Adiyar. All Adiyars are equal to him. All Adiyars are Lord Shiva in different forms. So because of his sincere thought, he reached and attained the maximum place of Lord Shiva's lotus feet. The topmost position he acquired only because of his sincerity in his service. So we may be extending services, we may be doing some services, and we will say we are able to do this service because we have been given the circumstances, chances to do this. No. Doing service not by circumstances or by chances. It should be your principle and way of life. If I am doing something, some service, then it should become my principle of my life. It should become my habit of life. I cannot change it because of anything else. If I think that principle, that concept, that the service is my aim of the life, I will never abandon or give up for any reason in my life. I will go on do it. We can see some people are feeding a lot of people at one stroke, 1,000 people, and they will keep mum for years together. What is the point in doing like this regularly, and at the same time periodically you must feed, you must render your service without any break. So that was the message we got, and Lord Shiva will be pleased only for the continuous service, unbreakable service. He would be pleased. So with this Nayanmar's story, we cannot say it is a story, it's a history. I want to tell you that the land belonging to Maranar is still available in Ilayankudi. It seems that it is owned by a Muslim Anbar, and it seems, I do not know, some Adiyas told me that he would be donating something for the Guru Puja of Ilayankudi Nayanar at Ilayankudi whenever it falls on. But people tried to purchase the land from him, but he refused to part with it. It is still with him, it seems. So their story is not a fictitious one, it is a real one, and we must appreciate the Maranar's sincerity in hosting and exhibiting his hospitality and his love towards the Shivanadiyas. With this, I am just concluding this Ilayankudi Nayanar episode, and next week, that is on 27th, if I am correct, 27th, isn't it? On 27th evening, again we will meet and we will see the history of Meipurul Nayanar. With this, I am just concluding this session. I will utter 5 times the Lord Shiva's Panchaksharam. I request you to follow it, in your place. O Namah Shivaya, O Namah Shivaya, O Namah Shivaya, O Namah Shivaya, O Namah Shivaya. Tiruchitrambalam. Please visit us at our website and Facebook and YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You will get the latest recordings of the programs in the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to Jnanathiral issue. And we have released on behalf of Jnanathiral, Jnana Kuzhandai, the life history of Tiriyana Sambandar, a comics book for kids. Kids will love it. You just offer it as their birthday present, and so on special occasions you can be present, because their habits will be cultivated because of Jnana Sambandar's history. So you can get the Jnana Kuzhandai. You subscribe for Jnanathiral. You can subscribe on behalf of your friends, relatives. Only 250 rupees per month, per year. 12 months you will receive the copy. So you can just subscribe for anybody else. If you just give us the address, we will post it to that address. So kindly help us in increasing the subscriptions of Jnanathiral. With this, I am just concluding it. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி, வெற்றிவேல் முருகனுக்கு அரோகரா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.